Hello everyone, and thanks for tuning in to another episode of Taste TV.
This episode of Taste TV is sponsored by Dakota Fluid Motion in Berthold. Dakota Fluid Motion is the top choice for industrial, oil field, and municipal pump sales and repair. Dakota Fluid Motion has job openings as well. If you're interested in their services or a career, you can contact them by heading to their website, call 701-453-3270, or email them at the email seen on your screen. Dakota Fluid Motion, effortless fluid management for the oil field, specializing in pumps for water, oil, and chemical transfers with unmatched efficiency and reliability.
That's right, y'all. I'm sponsored now, so very exciting. Thank you so much to Dakota Fluid. I just love what I'm doing, and I'm just happy that we could collaborate together and it allowed me to do something that I love and get a little bit of a revenue as I'm doing it too. So thank you so much to Dakota Fluid for taking this opportunity to sponsor me. I appreciate it so very much. So coming up on Taste TV, I met with a pioneer for women in the radio industry in North Dakota, Stacy Sturm. She's got an incredible story about trusting her instinct, and that's how she's got to where she is today. And I have an exciting new opportunity for you all. Find out what that's all about at the end of the show. That's all coming up right now on Taste TV. Welcome in, everyone, and thanks for joining me this Monday night. I had the pleasure of touring my new job today at Agency Mabu, and it was truly wonderful. I'm so excited to start there with them next week. I think the entire time I was there, my jaw must have been like on the ground because it's not just like extravagant, but like the way that they were treating their employees really just stood out to me. They just seemed to really be appreciative of one another and supportive of one another. So I'm just so excited to be beginning with them next week on Thursday. So exciting things. I'm a little bit nervous, but a great man named Tom Schrader once told me that if you're not a little bit nervous, then it probably means you don't care. So it's a good thing that you're nervous. So yeah, thanks for that advice, Tom. I use that, but it's a good nerve. It just, it's the start of something new. So yeah, I'm excited. But again, I wanted to say thank you to everyone for the kind love and support over the last week or so. I'm planning a trip to Turtle Mountain this week to see Keith with Turtle Mountain Rescue and do a story with him for next week. And since I don't start my new job until the 20th, I just wanted to say again, thank you guys so much for all the love and support. It's truly appreciated. So thank you so much. Now, I had the pleasure of sitting down with Miss Stacy Sturm. She's the owner of URL Radio in Bismarck. And not only has she been a pioneer for women in the radio industry in North Dakota, but she's also brought a whole new cocktail experience to our state as well. However, it's not all been easy for her. Here's more about her story.
Stacy Sturm was born in Montana. When her dad got relocated for work in her teen years, the family then packed up and moved to North Dakota. She then attended high school at Bismarck High.
Go Demons!
And graduated in 1992. She went on to college at the University of Mary and spent 4 years studying communications. During college, Sturm worked part-time at Y93. In the same year she graduated in 1996, she became an intern at Prairie Public Radio as a reporter.
You know, I think I knew from the time I was like a young kid that I wanted to do something in radio or TV or magazine. They just drew me in, and I felt like it was a good fit. When I was 4, I had a record player, and I used to host a little radio show with my Kenny Rogers records. Whatever, I forget what I had for records. It was like Snoopy and the Red Baron and Kenny Rogers and Dolly Parton. It was an odd mix of like records to give a 4-year-old child.
Sturm then became editor of the newspaper in Mandan, which Sturm jokes was a crazy role to give a 22-year-old kid. She also worked at Cool 98.7 part-time, then got a third part-time job as a public information officer for Bismarck State College.
If I don't have a full-time radio gig by the time I'm 25, I'm just done with it. I'm quitting radio. I'm done. I'm not going to do it anymore. And I threw it out to the universe, which I'm a big believer in. If you put it out there, manifest it, pray it, whatever you imagine that to look like. I said, if I don't have a full-time radio job by the time I'm 25, it's just not meant to be. I'm just not going to do it. And the week before my 25th birthday, I got a call and they wanted me to come in and interview for a spot on the morning show on Y93. So
Sturm then spent about 8.5 years on air on Y93 with the Brady and Stacy show, which she says was #1 for many of those years.
But then the world of radio just turned upside down. Radio decided that it would be more cost effective for them to basically just eliminate all local talent. You know what I mean? Basically, they just purged everybody and they had their 5 or 6 shows that they just crammed down everybody's throat. And so when they got rid of local people is when I was like, oh, radio's going to die.
Eventually, both Stacy and Brady's contracts were bought out, and they were replaced by John Tesh. Sturm says that's when she realized that the market in radio was truly changing. More and more people were listening to digital radio and podcasts.
People really want that people connection. They don't want the same 15 artists shoved down your throat. They don't want the same 15 on-air talent shoved down your throat. They want more. So I could see that changing, which is why I started up URL Radio.
Stacy and her friend Nicole started URL Radio with the help of the University of Mary and then started airing in 2009. The two women pioneered a new way for radio in North Dakota.
The only thing streaming at the time that I knew of was Pandora. But I'd always thought in the back of my mind, what if you could do local Pandora? Like, that's got to be a possibility, right? That's got to be a possibility if we could do local Pandora.
So that's exactly what they did, and Stacy says that no one in the state had done anything like that at the time. Though it wasn't all easy, Sturm says that they really had to think outside of the box to figure out how to bring in listeners and advertisers.
And then when the Heritage Center contacted me and they were like, hey, this is pretty iconic. This is the first time we've ever had any of this media in the state. Do you have some stuff we can keep on record for the future, like some old t-shirts, some initial startup stuff, some paperwork, things we can have? And I was like, oh my God, you're right. Like, I brought an entire medium to the state. Like, I did it.
URL Radio has been on the air for about 16 years now. When you meet Sturm, you know that she's a true North Dakotan. I mean that because she truly cares about the community around her and believes in making it better. She not only runs a full-time local radio station with her best friend Barkley, but she's also brought a whole new cocktail experience to the Bismarck-Mandan area as well with her partner in crime, or boyfriend, Mike. Mike is an experienced mixologist and suggested to Stacy one day that they go into business together. He could do the bar management side, and she would handle the business end of things. So they opened Thomas and Moriarty's in Mandan in 2018. It's not just your typical bar, it's a whole different experience. And the couple recently opened another cocktail bar in downtown Bismarck called Oscars, which again is a whole experience.
Expect the unexpected. We're doing some really fun things that aren't currently being done at any place around here. Some really fun, like molecular mixology kinds of things is, I guess, the best way to describe it. So we do things with dry ice. We do things with like edible bubbles. We do, all sorts of little tips and tricks. We have tableside service. So there's one of the drinks where if you order it, we wheel a cart out and then we garnish it. We might brulee an orange for you. We might brulee a lemon for you.
Although some may think that Oscars and Thomas and Moriarty's is just for a fancy night or that there may be a dress code. However, Sturm says that all are welcome to come and enjoy a new kind of cocktail experience. She says that she's handpicked her staff to specifically be mixology geeks, and they're always trying something new. Sturm has done a lot for the community as well, constantly supporting events around her and even gives ghost tours of downtown Bismarck, which, surprisingly, has a very bloody history. Though she's been a pioneer in the radio world and cocktail world, it's not all been easy for Sturm.
I'd been feeling pretty bad for a year or so leading up to it. Like I knew something was wrong, but yay America, I didn't have health insurance. So I just wasn't going into the hospital. And I was always like, next week, this is a really busy week for work. I'll go in next week. I'll go in next week. I'll go in next week. And I was like, you know what? Finally, I bit the bullet. I'm like, I need to go in.
Sturm was diagnosed with late-stage ovarian cancer in 2021. She says she went into the doctors just in time. If she would have went a few weeks later, they wouldn't have been able to treat her. Sturm was determined to beat the cancer, which she says is half the battle, your attitude.
I knew that there was a lot more I had to do. There was still a lot more that I needed to do. So I was like, it's going to be fine. I just kept telling myself, it's going to be fine. I'm going to beat it. It's going to be fine. I'm going to be the 15%. It's going to be fine.
Sturm has been cancer-free for about 3 years now. However, she says that she still experiences health problems that came along with the cancer. She says that people almost gave her more grace when she was going through the chemo, but it's still very difficult and she finds herself very tired most days. Stacy Sturm is a pioneer for women in more ways than just one. She's a mother, devoted DJ, bar owner, and cancer survivor. Reporting for Taste TV in Bismarck, I'm Taylor Rawson.
Now, if you guys would like to learn more about URL or You Rock Lately Radio and give it a listen, I'll be linking that into the description of this video, as well as a link to check out both of her cocktail bars, Thomas and Moriarty's and Oscar's. I've been to Thomas and Moriarty's, and it's such a cool experience. And Stacy did show me Oscar's before they open, so I do plan to go check that out soon, hopefully with my Bismarck mom, Miss Alicia. So I talked her into going to have a cocktail with me. I can't wait to experience it. It looks so cool. So thank you so much, Stacy, for allowing me to share your story. Well, I just wanted to also say that I did have a kind gentleman donate a VHS tape converter. Thank you to him. So that being said, I am now able to convert your guys' tapes for you if you want. So just message me and we can work something out. I'm happy to do so. I spent hours and hours in college converting tapes for my mom's documentary. You guys can check that out, but I'll be sharing that later this year too. But you know, you don't see this service in very many areas, especially in North Dakota. It's kind of hard to find a place that will convert your tapes for you. So I'm happy to do so at a very cheap rate. So just message me, and again, we can work something out. I'm happy to make those memories last forever for you guys, because yeah, like I said, these things are going to be, they're already obsolete, but it's going to be harder and harder for people to find places that will do conversions for them. So yeah, again, just message me and we can work something out. I'm happy to do so. Well, that's all I do have for you guys this week. Be sure to tune in again next week. I'm heading up to the Turtle Mountain area to speak with Keith from the Turtle Mountain Rescue to do a story with him. That will be Monday night at 5. And then tomorrow I'll be diving into the whole Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni case and why it's costing Blake her best friendship with Tay. Tomorrow night on 2 Cents Tuesdays with Tay. Until then, thanks for tuning in to Tay's TV. Bye, Dad. I love you.
This video has been sponsored by Dakota Fluid Motion, the top choice for industrial, oil field, and municipal pump sales and repair. Dakota Fluid Motion has job openings as well. If you're interested in their services or career, you can contact them by heading to their website, call 701-453-3270, or email them at the email seen on your screen.